Sunday, at a special time, 8:30, 7:30 Central and Mountain.
Well, this is not a boat accident.
It's finally coming.
It was a shark.
The most powerful movie of all time.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Sunday, get ready for Jaws.
JAWGUST. JAWGUST.
JAWGUST, it is JAWGUST, where I will be watching Jaws each day. Podcast, got a podcast, but I'm not quite sure what I will say. The choice of this time I give you pause, 'cause it has nothing to do with Jaws. JAWGUST, it is JAWGUST, where every day I will watch Jaws and talk about Jaws. It helps if you like Jaws. Tonight, on a very special penultimate episode of JAWGUST, Mike cleans out the computer. Thank you, announcer. You are handsome, he said to the mirror. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the second to last episode of JAWGUST. August 30th, where today, for the 30th straight day, I watched Jaws. And for the 30th straight day, I'm talking about Jaws. Now, tomorrow night is the last show in Jaws, and I have some very special things planned. I'm looking forward to it. And tonight, I have nothing planned. So I thought it would be a cool idea to steal something from my favorite radio show, The Howard Stern Show, where they do a thing called Clean Out the Computer, where they get a bunch of the guys in the show to, they have all these things that they think would be good for the air, but they never get to it. So they take a day and a bunch of the guys present things that they think would be funny to talk about. This is sort of like that. Basically, I'm going into my Evernote, free plug, and I have a note called JAWGUST Talking Points, where I've been making all my notes all month. And I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 notes that I haven't, 8 notes that I haven't done yet, because one of those notes I'm saving. It's not really a note, it's an idea. So, before I do that, quick shout out to Chris Morris, who might be finished, but at the time of this recording, he texted me a photo of a sheet that hung up on the side of their house, and on that sheet was projected an image, and on that image was Jaws. Yes, they did a backyard showing with their neighbors on a big projector on the screen on the side of the house of Jaws. I'm extremely jealous, but I wanted him to, he's been messaging me during it saying my daughter's asking me to stop talking because he's basically quoting the entire movie. And I wanted him to get up at the end and like bring up the house lights, like, because there's house lights, and be like, all right, let's we have a few minutes for a Q&A if they want to ask me any questions, because he's obviously the I'm going to say he's the Jaws expert. Well, him or his wife are the Jaws experts there. And he actually texted me about one of his neighbors having Jaws ties. She grew up in Martha's Vineyard. Her parents say that they were there during the filming, and they actually sat next to Lee Fierro during the Jaws premiere on the island. And my response was, how am I just finding this out now? I could have had them on the show. But I thought that was really cool. See, it's exciting when you find out that you're not the only one celebrating JAWGUST all month long. Another thing I want to note, which I didn't actually write down in my notes, but today, I think I just happened to pause Jaws for a cause. I just want to see how many words I can get to rhyme. I just happened to pause Jaws at a moment where Michael was coming in. He's like, I got hit by a vampire. And for a second, I looked and just kind of said, what is that on their wall? What is that? Some sort of calendar, some sort of like tapestry. So then I went on a mission to look for a cloth towel 1974 bird calendar. And it took me a little while, but I actually found one that was, I guess it was on eBay at some point, but this was listed on on Pinterest. And I actually threw a comment on there that yes, this is hanging in the Brody's house in Jaws. So I don't know how old this is, but it's the exact same calendar from Jaws I just thought that was, for me, it was like I texted my brother and Chris saying, I have reached nirvana, because I was like, I just feel at ease. Like, oh, I want to find what's on the wall, and now I found it. And for some reason that made me so very, very happy. One of the things that also made me happy, and then I had the air let out of me like a balloon, was the songs. Yes, yesterday I talked about John Williams and the music of Jaws, but there's actually other music in Jaws. It doesn't have a soundtrack, but there are songs being played, specifically on the beach right before Alex Kittner had his little swimming accident. 2 songs. Now, the second song was easy to find, and it sounded familiar. You could hear the lyrics clearly. I searched it on Google, found the lyrics, and was easy enough to find that this was the second song being played on the beach. Pretty much, I think it was while Ellen was giving the chief a good back rub.
Maybe I hang around here a little more than I should. We both know I got somewhere else to go.
But I got something to tell you that I never thought I would. That's the part right at the beach.
But I believe you really ought to know.
Come on, everybody, sing it with me. I love you. Oops. I honestly love you. Ooh, I could go on and on about that song and that woman, but I'm going to save it for Olivia Newton-June, coming soon to fans.experts.com. So that was the easy one. And you might hear me talking a little quieter now. I guess I was too loud for Sunday night. Shh. We gotta be respectful. So, as I was saying, that was the easy song to find out. But it was looking for little words for the first song that, of course, again, was already found out, was already known. Chris already told it to me. But I completely ignored him and forgot about that, and was just going through, listening to it over and over and over again, getting 2 or 3 words, searching for the lyrics, searching for the songs, and finally I found the song that Chris already found.
You're having my baby. What a lovely way of saying how much you love me. Having my baby. What a lovely way of saying what you're thinking of me. I can see it. Your face is glowing. I can see it in your eyes. I'm happy knowing that you're having my baby. You're the woman I love, and I love what it's doing to you. Having my baby.
So if you really think about it, Paul Anka singing "You're Having My Baby" or "She's Having My Baby" is probably the last song that Alex Kittner ever heard. Not ideal for a little kid. Probably not what he was into in 74, just going out on a limb. But somebody had that on the radio. My guess is it was the dude that stands up and says, "Did you see that?" The first guy to react. He had cool hair and sunglasses, and I'm going to say he was playing Paul Anka on his AM radio. That's my guess. I have to tell you, folks, when I said I didn't have any plans, I did not plan to do that tonight. I was just going to read my notes, and that was it. And I realized, wait a second, I haven't talked about this yet. Now's the time to do it, because tomorrow is spoken for. I'm just going to say that. So let's get into the notes. And again, I have no idea how good these are. I don't think I've read all of them yet. Usually I delete them the moment I read them so I don't go back. But then again, who knows if I retype them. So this was I think this was yesterday when I wrote this. Just noticed that when the local fishermen were yelling at Hooper about the bite radius, what's his bite radius crap? The guy behind him was blowing on Hooper's neck. He just going, the guy who was like, "I think it's a macaw." Hitting the tiger shark with I think a pen or pencil, and he was just blowing on the back of Hooper's neck, trying to intimidate him. He's like, "Whoo, whoo," and you could definitely see Hooper react to it right before it cut away. Just wanted to make note of that. Never noticed that until just the other day. Now I'm always going to see it. Recently I played a clip the other day that had Lee Fierro in it. And obviously I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that she recently passed away from the coronavirus. I don't think I mentioned that yet. But the thing, and I mean, that's awful, but the thing I wanted to mention was she said that scene with the slapping Brody, she said there was about 17 slaps. She slapped him about 17 times. I wonder if that was the best slap or just the best take. So they went with it. Or I wonder if that slap was from the same take. Now I'm like, wait, it cuts, right? She slaps him, cuts over to Hooper, cuts back. But yeah, she had to slap him a bunch of times. So kudos to Roy Scheider for taking it, because she did not hold back. She smacked that dude right in the face. This one says, how funny would it be if those two kids with the cardboard fin had got eaten right then and there? That has nothing to do with Jaws or anything. It's just, I laughed that they're like, he made me do it. It was his idea. He talked me into it. And then they're like, guys, it's just a couple. And then boom, right there. Wow, one of the kids gets pulled away. They weren't in that deep of water, but I thought that would be funny, I guess. The sound of the movie has got an Oscar. We talk about, or I talked about John Williams winning an Oscar for the score. Vernon Fields won an Oscar for the editing. But the sound guys, of course I don't know their names off the top of my head, won an Oscar for sound. And I have to say, like, I like sounds. I don't know, like little sounds, weird little sounds. The detail of sounds, like making sure that something will have a sound or won't have a sound. You know, sometimes you see fights and there's all these sounds that probably wouldn't be real because you're not going to hear for a fight. But when Hooper puts the cork on the spear before he gets in the cage, it's like a, which is like, you know, I'm sure that wasn't live caught in camera. I'm sure that was added later. And then when he's underwater, for some reason I noticed it, and then I go, oh, here it comes again. Every day when he takes the cork off, he's underwater. It's just a little, it's like just a little squeak, and I don't know why. I just found that very satisfying. I wrote, today social services would interview Ellen why their kids were left so alone on the beach on the 4th of July. Yep. I've said that so many times that it's like, you know, you can't deny that Ellen, it's the 70s. Every time that comes up though, my brother's like, it was the 70s. I'm like, yeah, that's right. It was the 70s. And I do remember being a kid and, you know, I was born in the 70s, but my childhood was the 80s. And not, you know, kind of, I had an older brother. There were older friends, older neighbors. Hi, Chris. And just kind of like, we left the house and we'd be back tonight. And I guess I just don't know if I would be, you know, running around the neighborhood if there was a killer in the neighborhood. You know, I don't know if I'd let my kids go in the ocean when there's a shark in the ocean. Look, if the pond isn't connected to the ocean, fine. But it obviously is. I mean, someday we're going to find out that, no, I'm not going to say it. I almost talked about a sequel, and I'm not going to do it. Just caught myself. I have a note here that just says, Lady of the Dunes. And I wrote that because I wanted to look this up a little more. Lady of the Dunes actually has its own Wikipedia page. Lady of the Dunes, also known as Lady in the Dunes, is the nickname of an unidentified woman discovered on July 26, 1974, in the Race Point Dunes in Provincetown, Massachusetts. Her body was exhumed in 1980, 2000, and 2013 in efforts to identify her and her murderer. To date, these efforts have been unsuccessful. The case was featured on the television series Haunting Evidence in 2006. And why? Why am I bringing this up? Because if you scroll down the Wikipedia page to the investigation section, there is a subsection that says Jaws film extra possibility. And I'm sure you can look this up and find more on this, but just to kind of give you the bird's eye view. In August 2015, speculation arose that Lady of the Dunes may have been an extra in the 1975 film Jaws, filmed in Massachusetts in 1974. Joe Hill, the son of horror author Stephen King, Joe Hill's also, I'm just going to say, he's also a great author himself. Joe Hill brought this to police's attention. I don't remember that part. Hill had learned of the case after reading The Skeleton Crew, How Amateur Sleuths Are Solving America's Coldest Cases, just weeks before. While watching the film's 4th of July beach scene, Hill spotted a woman in the crowd wearing a blue bandana and jeans, similar to those found with the body. Jaws was shot between May and October in 1974. Principal photography was mainly in Menemsha on Martha's Vineyard, about 100 miles south of Provincetown. Although a lead investigator has noted interest in this, others have described it as far-fetched and wild speculation. But it did actually get covered on the local news, on the 25 News here in Boston back in 2018.
Provincetown, on the very tip of Cape Cod, is a place of peace and legends, none bigger than the case of the Lady of the Dunes. On July 26, 1974, The body of a murdered woman was found on a beach blanket on Race Point. No one knows who she was, but this is what she likely looked like in life.
Over the years, there have been a lot of theories over who the Lady of the Dunes actually was, and this summer, there's a new theory that's going viral, and the guy behind it is right here. He's New Hampshire best-selling author Joe Hill. If you don't know who Joe is, you definitely know his dad, Stephen King.
I have an imagination for spinning ghost stories.
Boston 25 reporter Jason Law recently asked Hill about his theory.
Did Stephen King's son just solve a 44-year-old murder mystery?
There is a creature alive today who has survived millions of years of evolution.
Joe Hill thinks the answer lies in his favorite film, Jaws, shot on Martha's Vineyard. And he thinks this woman, filmed in a crowd at Vineyard Haven, could be the Lady of the Dunes.
I was watching the movie, and about a third of the way in, my whole body covered with goosebumps, and I kind of jolted forward out of my seat.
The timing works out. The scene was shot in May 1974. The lady was found in July. The scene was shot about 100 miles away from Provincetown. The woman in the film wore a blue bandana and jeans. A blue bandana and jeans were found next to the Lady in the Dunes. For now, it's all just a theory, but one that ties a great New England mystery to a great New England movie and a great New England writer. I'm Bob Ward.
So I definitely thought that was worth sharing. Just kind of some eerie, interesting thing. And the shot, if you ever track down the news footage, or if you look it up, it looks like when all the people are coming for 4th of July. You know, when it's all the crazy crowds of people coming and going. So there's so many extras. It's like there's no chance it's like, you know, everyone has a list of all these extras. So the possibility of it alone makes it very eerie. And, you know, because it relates to Jaws, I couldn't not talk about it. So I have 2 notes left. One of them is, you know, just me reading into things. On the barge, I did find it interesting that Mayor Vaughn took Martin aside twice. You know, grabs him, first of all, when he gets on the barge, he grabs him right by the arm. He's like, Martin? You know, throwing his weight around right away. But he walks over a bit with Ben Meadows. And we never had a problem like this in these waters before. It's happened before. I know one of those lines is wrong. And they talk for a few minutes, and again with the medical examiner. Then those two kind of just fade back, and he brings Martin closer. Like, look, this is between you and me, Sheriff. You are Barracuda. People say, huh? What? And he brings him right up to the camera. Like, look, none of these other guys matter. What I say and what you say is the most important thing. So I totally see that as a power play. And I wanted to mention it, which is why I wrote the note down. Lastly, another long shot. You know, what I love long shots. I love long shots in Jaws. I love long shots in movies. When you're watching a movie 30 times in a row, you notice these long shots over and over. And you wonder, you know, wow, how many times did they have to do that? How long did they have to rehearse? Did they get it just right? Was there another take that was maybe better, but something happened? Like, all these things are, you know, I find interesting. But this long shot is when Ellen and Martin are walking through the docks, you know, through Quint's place, talking. While that's happening, and you know what? I may have talked about this already, but I don't care. Well, it's so good, I want to talk about it again. They go up, they're having their conversation. While that's happening, Quint and Hooper are working in the background. Quint is yelling about stuff, and then he's telling off-color jokes. All these things are going on. All this stuff is happening in the background, and she's like, what do I tell the kids? Tell them I'm going fishing. They hug, and he's like, break it up, Chief, daylight's wasting. And then he walks over, he's like, see, you brought your rubbers. Right? Or see, you got your rubbers. I question myself all the time. And and then she starts running off when you're like, if you see a shark, Huba, swallow. Which again, I don't even understand, but I love it. So that's the whole scene. It's from them walking in, and it stays with them, and then it follows Ellen as she runs out, and then of course that's the last time you really see anybody else. It becomes a whole new movie then, and of course that's when you see the shark. I mean the shark jaws, the teeth, and you follow the orca through the window, through the shot, out into the ocean. One thing I wanted to note before I go, I try to come up with dumb ideas, fun ideas, silly ideas, and there are a few things that I just never did. They turned into other things. I wanted to do a funeral for Quint, where people were going to come up and speak, but I couldn't think of anything. I have Amazing Grace on the bagpipes. I have a song. I have an MP3 of that I never used. But I ended up using the bagpipes for David's email, so I still got to get my bagpipes in. And another thing I wanted to do was kind of the trial of Mayor Vaughn, but instead I turned that into the true crime podcast, which I think was much more fun. And then the other thing that I had an idea for, and I ended up getting this MP3 on August 13th, and I never did anything with it.
I'm telling you, the crime rate in New York will kill you. There's so many problems, you never feel like you're accomplishing anything. Violence, rip-offs, muggings. Kids can't leave the house. You gotta walk them to school. But in Amity, one man can make a difference. In 25 years, there's never been a shooting or a murder in this town.
And that was the basis of my idea. In 25 years, there's never been a murder or shooting in this town. But what happened 25 years ago? And who knows about it? I had this whole idea that, Polly comes in the morning, and Hendrix and that kid are like completely shaken up. She doesn't even bat an eye because she's gone through some things. She was here in Amity 25 years ago when the murder or shooting happened. And who was it that Brody replaced? Where's that guy? What's his story? What's he hiding? It's always what's he it was always going to be what's he hiding. I was going to make Harry involved because he's so old. He's obviously been in Amity for so long. What does he know about the murder? Basically, any of the old guys, I was going to say they're covering up something. But as you can see, that's the entire idea. It was a premise that made me laugh. The idea of the Unsolved Mysteries music made me laugh. And I had nowhere to go with it. I had no other ideas. But with only one episode left after today, I had to talk about it. I had to at least mention it because just the thought of that song, the music, made me laugh. And I was like, I gotta look up YouTube and try to see if I can do a Robert Stack, which I didn't look up, so that's obviously not a good Robert Stack. He's can I do a Robert Stack? I'm Robert Stack. No, I can't. It turns out I can't do a Robert Stack. Maybe if I listened to it 1,000 times, I could probably do, I can do a guy attempting to do Robert Stack. That would make sense. But I cleaned out the computer. I wanted to talk about these things. I wanted to mention what I hadn't talked about yet. I wanted to mention the one thing that I almost did. Well, the few things that I almost did, but the Unsolved Mysteries one was the one that I thought was kind of funny. But again, it was it has nothing to do with Jaws. But when you're watching it over and over again, or it has very little to do with Jaws, you pick up on that line. You're like, 25 years ago, what happened? You're asking questions everywhere. I mean, I was looking at the calendar on the Brody's wall today. You understand? You understand what I mean? But that's what you do for 30 days. But what do you do on the 31st day of JAWGUST? the last day of JAWGUST. Hoo, 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 hoo. My friends, you'll have to stick around to find out. Tomorrow is that day, the very last day of JAWGUST. Oh my goodness. Tomorrow's the very last day of JAWGUST. Tomorrow is the last day that I watch Jaws in a row for this project. I mean, it's not the last day I watch Jaws. That's just stupid. I hope you'll join me tomorrow, friends. Same JAWGUST time, same JAWGUST channel. Now, you know where you can find me on Twitter and Instagram, right? It's at Geek Mentality. That's the name of the podcast, even though I've been saying JAWGUST, 75 times over, the last 30 days. Even hearing the month of August sounds weird now. The website is fansnotexperts.com. The Facebook page is fansnotexperts. And we did it, folks. We've come to the final day. But that's not today. We're still in JAWGUST, folks. Enjoy it. Go have a JAWGUST barbecue. Say hi to your neighbors. And wish them a happy JAWGUST for me. And until tomorrow, until JAWGUST 31st, the last day of JAWGUST, here is my theme song. This is my podcast, I made it. Geek Mentality's what I named it. And I think you should listen and subscribe. 'Cause I'm kinda funny and awesome. I think that I'm worth your time. And I'm kinda handsome. My mom says, please listen and please subscribe. At least listen to this episode. Fans Not Experts.